Hello ladies and gentlemen, just a quick video today, show you around the pond, tell you what I've been doing, and it's not a lot really to tell. So obviously we've got our skimmer box over there. If you're wondering what is a skimmer, it's something you put on your pond to remove debris and any bits of food as well. So essentially, if you can see the ripples in the water, that's a pump connected to the skimmer box. So I'll just put some leaves in here so you can see it doing its job. And as you can see, it draws it in. Now, thanks to Macacoy's suggestion of putting a grill over the pond, if you see my past videos, you will have seen me obviously lose a fish in there. So I've put a grill across to stop fish getting in there and basically killing themselves. Basically it has a weird door. Let me just show you. A little flapping weird door, like so. And basically a basket in there that collects all of the debris. So essentially I'll show you what we've been doing over at that end where the filter box is. So let's just go over. Obviously you can see I've got a stainless steel spillway in the wetland filter box, which is just basically loads of stones to give you filtration, and obviously we've got a little bit of mechanical filtration over there with sponges. And here I've got a nice little floating basket. Got that from a local koi supplier for about 20 quid. It's obviously died off a little bit in the winter, but it'll come back to life in the summer. I've got one of these koi food floating gadgets to keep the food away from the skimmer, because it will draw the food into the skimmer box. Obviously we've got some ornaments there, so some pergolas and the small dragon there from America. As you can see, my fish are down there just hiding out. And if you're wondering where the outlets are into the pond, because we do have two returns from the skimmer box, so basically the water goes into the skimmer box, any debris gets taken out, and then we've got an outlet there that pushes water into the pond, and another outlet just there. Hopefully you can see that. My fish are down there just literally hanging out, and there's a bit of a reflection there, just trying to get you a better view if I can. And they're just huddled together really because it's really cold in there. So on the actual filter box, as you've seen in my previous videos, I've put this protective liner siliconed onto the wood to basically stop the water that's splashing into the pond back onto there, because I didn't want the water going onto the wood and rotting the wood. Underneath, thanks to Skeggy and Macacoy, I've decided to put a bead of silicone on there. It's probably not necessary, if I'm honest with you, because the splashing is coming actually from the water below, but I thought just in case, put that on. And obviously I've siliconed the liner to the actual spillway on the back as well, so hopefully all the water will get contained and go back into the pond. Just having a look at the filter box in more detail over here. Essentially we've got plants in there as well to filtrate, and a few ornaments. You know, look at these little mini pagodas that I picked up from I think it was a BM store. I picked them up for about £1 each, not expensive. And there's the sponges, and we've got Japanese matting, sponges, brushes, and some small round ones in the actual bucket there that filters the pond. So basically we've got a retro bottom drain there, pulls the water up into a UV, and then eventually back into this filter box and filters the pond. So I thought I'd show you a bit more detail around the back, because some people have asked how have you got it working. Essentially it's just some flexi hose that goes around the back into a pump. So if I just show you, we've got one pump there, that's for the skimmer box, and the other pump there, you can see at that end, that feeds the filter box. So obviously we've got our return there that goes into the pond, as I've just shown you, and then there's the far return there, and I've also got like a ball valve there, so I can adjust the flow, so I can have more flow going to the far end, or if I want to slow it down and have just flow in this end, we can close that ball valve and have more flow going through this particular inlet into the pond. So I just wanted to show you that. So essentially that's what we've got in the pond at the moment, and as you can see, the skimmer is doing its job as it's pulling in debris that's just been dropped in the pond, and that's essentially what the skimmer does really. It just pulls the rubbish into your pond. Highly recommend you get a skimmer if you've got a lot of trees around, because you don't want tree leaves getting to the bottom of your pond and decomposing, because that just causes loads of issues with bacteria. So if you can, put a skimmer box on your pond. Don't matter what kind it is, there's various types, for in-ground ponds to skimmer wall, breeze block ones. There's many different types out there. I just put a Cottony Coy one in because they're cheap, they're only about 50 quid. You can get the aquascape ones to go in-ground pond ones, but they can be quite expensive, ranging between 400 and £1,000, so they can be expensive. So I thought I'd just show you around the back since we've got some decent light. So let's look around the back, and you can see the various pipework that I've got. As I said, there's the J-bow pump. I've got two J-bow pumps, but I may consider putting a variable one in so I can vary the flow in the actual filter box. It'd be nice if I could change the flow from time to time. So basically the water comes from the pump, goes into the filter box here. Let me just open it up for you guys. You've seen this before, but I'll just show you again. So we've got 25 watt Aqua Evolution UV clarifier there. I've got a Pond 1 O2 Plus 4000 air pump that goes to the actual retro bottom drain, but I don't tend to use it because I get so much aeration from the spillway. I don't need it. So water comes in, goes through the actual UV, goes back out, up through a one-way valve that I got off eBay and into the filter box, and then obviously from the filter box back into the pond. So basically it's like a cycle. So we get water going to the skimmer box, goes back into the pond, and then water gets drawn from the retro bottom drain from a pump round the back of here into the UV, back out into the sponges here, and eventually into the wetland filter box that I built here. I've done various videos on that, so if you want to see how I built it, go and search for those, you will find those. And then obviously the spillway. If you've seen some of my older videos, I'll just go back to the stainless steel spillway. My older video that I built this with a wooden spillway, but the water was doing a lot of back travelling, and I did obviously have some silicone on the back to stop that happening, but even that didn't seem to solve the problem. So eventually I decided to get a stainless steel spillway, causes slightly less noise, and I don't get as much back travel anymore. And if you wonder what back travel is, basically water travelling along your spillway and then travels to the back and then down the back of your filter sometimes. You don't want to do that. Obviously in my previous videos I've said why I don't want to do that. So essentially that's more or less the pond setup. So I've got a little feeding ring here to contain the food to stop it flowing, because if you've got food on the pond and you've got a skimmer, it will pull it into the skimmer box, and sometimes your fish will follow the food in, and that's why I got fish travelling in there in the first place. So if you put a guide on the front Doesn't matter what it is, to stop your fish getting in, that's a good idea. Obviously we've got a floating basket here, picked that up for about 20 quid. It's sort of dying off a little bit in the winter, so it'll come back in the summer. Obviously you can see the fish down there, hanging about in the bottom. Literally huddling together, because it's really cold in there. It's like almost 10 degrees outside, but in the pond it must be close to freezing, because it is absolutely freezing. So essentially, yeah, that's the filter and the pond. I just wanted to give you a bit of a show and tell update. We're in February now. Hopefully we'll start to get some better temperatures. Yes, I did have some stones in the pond. Some people have said, oh, you shouldn't really put stones in the pond, but it does add to the beneficial bacteria that you've got in ponds. Gives them something to you know, live off. But there you go, that's more of an update. There's not much more I can really say until we get some better weather. What I'm thinking of doing though is building a little bit of an extension to the polycarbonate here. When it rains, the water sort of comes down and hits here, and you get wet if you want to be outside and watch the fish. So what I'm thinking of doing is putting a post here and a post here, and getting a small piece of polycarbonate that'll come out. So if anyone out there has a spare piece of polycarbonate that they think will fit there nicely, I'm not sure how long, maybe 2.5 meter long and about a meter or 2 meters wide or something like that. If you have a piece, let me know in the comments. I'd be happy to purchase it off you. And that's something I'm thinking of putting extra onto this pond. I've taken down the sail, because in the winter it does get quite windy. I'll put it back up when it gets a bit nicer. Luckily today we've got virtually no wind, so it's actually not too bad of a day today. So yeah, that's the pond at the moment. Just wanted to do a quick update to show you around, and I'll see you in the next one. Remember, I am running a competition for some koi food. I will announce a winner in Easter, and then I'll get it to you within a month or so. So essentially that's something that I wanted to show you. Just to let you know about the competition, I will be sending as an extra thank you to all my subscribers, one of my koi mugs with the koi food. So if you want a chance of getting a mug as well, just enter the competition. I'll put a link in the description box if you want to go and see it and see all the details. All you got to do is guess the dice number from 1 to 12. Put a comment down and I'll put you in the spinning wheel of doom to find out if you're a winner or not. Anyway, I'll see you in the next one. Thanks for watching, and I hope you guys have a lovely week. See you later. Bye bye.